Well, I'm joined now by Andrea Murta in Washington, D.C. She's the Associate Director of the Atlantic Council's Latin America Center. Andrea, thanks so much for joining us. There's been this back and forth now for the past weeks and months. Bottom line, will Rousseff face impeachment or not?
She probably will. According to the latest polls by the media and by people that are following Congress, the opposition already has the 342 votes that are needed to have the impeachment proceed to the Senate. And Brazil is really in a mode of waiting to see if that will be really going on Sunday without any surprises. And everybody is a little apprehensive about what will come of the country after this impeachment is approved.
Absolutely, and we just heard President Lula make his appeal to the people there in a televised commercial, saying if you let this happen, this situation, this crisis will get worse. Do people listen to Lula?
He still has a strong following. So both Lula and Dilma are still talking to the population, to social movements, to unions, to the people that are still listening and following them, trying to avoid an impeachment in the chamber and in the Senate if it indeed goes on to that step. But the majority of the population still supports the impeachment. It's about 60% of people in Brazil right now that support Dilma Rousseff's removal from power. The question is what's going to happen after that? Because even though these large numbers are supporting the impeachment, they are not exactly excited about the next government that would come with Vice President Michel Temer. He has low approval rates from the population as well. So this impeachment is not really a vote of we want what's coming next. It's really a vote of we want her out.
Right, but they recognize the alternative could actually be worse. But Andrea, even if Rousseff manages to avoid an impeachment hearing, how can she actually stay in office when her coalition partners have mostly turned against her?
It would be very difficult. If she does beat impeachment, which seems unlikely at this point, it will be a very weak government that has no support in Congress, and it would be extremely difficult for the government to take the country out of the crisis that it's in right now, because they would really have no support to approve any of the measures that are necessary to revive the economy at this point. There is an expectation that the next government, not because they are particularly liked, but because they will bring some fresh air into the situation, they might be able to have a coalition in place that will indeed approve some measures. That's at least the expectation, the optimistic view, that they will be able to move forward on a stronger pace than Dilma Rousseff would be if she stays in power.
And perhaps they can provide the least bad alternative. Okay, Andrea, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us, as always, from Washington.